I'm Colin Maiden. My father was Henry Maiden, and I'm the grandson of William James Maiden. This movie was made in the summer of 1931, and the first part is at Point Chevalier Beach, and the second part is at their villa in Campbell Road, Grey Lynn. Now, this is the first part at the beach. There's my mother, a very good-looking woman, Lorna Richardson. She was engaged to my father Henry at the time. Marquis at the back. There's Teddy helping the Marquis get together, and there's the car. There's my mother and father. This is Margie. And they're sitting on the beach here with Grandma Kate Maiden in between them all. And here comes Dorrie. She's fallen over. There's Grandpa at the end. And here comes Margie. Now, they're filling Grandma's plate with sand. And they're all having a great time. There's my father fighting a bit with Jack. More of that later. That's Jack Caldwell, Reeby's eldest son. Here comes Margie again. Gordon Clarkson on the right, engaged at the time to Dorrie. And at the back is William Caldwell. Now this is Billy Maiden, who lives in Sydney. He's come over for the occasion. He's smoking, as they all did in those days. Here's Margie again. And there's my father with Roy Stone, Phyllis's son. Look at the tan on my father. He tans very much. And here's young Roy Stone, who's, I'd say, 2 or 3 at the time. And there's my dad again. Dad loved playing with kids, and kids came from everywhere to see my father. He acted the fool a lot. Now, here we are, Point Chevalier Beach again. And this is the intermission. And there's bottom of Queen Street, near the post office. Look at all the men in their suits, waistcoats and hats. So very different from today. And the trams, pity we hadn't kept some of those in Auckland. Now here's some, this is some humour. And here going up the Iguazu River in South America, what's that doing in there? And this is meant to be humorous, but I can't quite see it. Now they're back at, in their Campbell Road Grey Lynn house. And the occasion of this party is Grandma Kate and my grandfather leaving the old villa in Campbell Road and moving to Pukehana Avenue in Epsom. Now here's the grandpa's car, a Hillman. Now Jack Maiden, he'd have been 14. Joy Maiden, about 10. And here's my father again, acting the fool as he loved to do. He smoked too much, finally died of emphysema. There's my grandmother Kate, and she's laughing a lot. But we never saw much of that in her later years. There she's with Jack, and my father sitting down. There's my grandfather William James. He'd have been about 60 at the time. Now here's Dad again with a sailor's hat on, and he's fighting with Jack. They're having a great time. Jack's just loving it. The family's looking on. Phyllis in the background, my grandfather, Joy. And here's Phyllis. Look at her teeth. My mother's teeth were like that. In fact, in those days, they had tremendous issues with their teeth, and most of them had them all removed in their early 20s. Now there's grandfather again. And there's Auntie Etty on the right, my Auntie Etty Phelan, my grandmother's sister. Joy again in front of Grandpa. And here's Phyllis with Roy Stone and his teddy bear. Phyllis lived in Christchurch. She'd come up there for the occasion, as had Billy from Sydney. So the whole family was united on this occasion. Now there's Jackie and Roy Stone. On the right is Reby. Now, Reby's husband, Ernie Caldwell, is there too. I haven't identified him yet. And sons Jack and William Caldwell. Now that's Gordon, shaking hands with Dad. They were great friends. Gordon always had a pipe on. There they're cleaning up Grandpa, and a photograph with the boys, and all the boys and Gordon. And look at the marquee in the background and One Tree Hill. Now here's Grandpa all dressed up, obviously going somewhere. It's a pity he died some 5 years later from the dust from the stamper at the battery at Waikino. Here they're all acting the fool again. And here we are. That's Ernie Caldwell at the back, second right. Phyllis, oh, here's Grandma again, and there, Grandpa. And there's Auntie Etty, who they said had a bad hip and a heart as big as the world, Grandpa's sister. Here they're carrying on with Grandma again. She's obviously just loving it. I think she'd been worn down at the end, though, from having so many children.